Have you ever stopped to think about how a surgeon can perform a major operation like taking out an appendix or even a gallbladder through a tiny little cut that's no bigger than a keyhole? I mean, how do they see what they're doing? How on earth do they manage to be so precise working from the outside in? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and dive into the amazing world of minimally invasive surgery. So, the secret is a technique called laparoscopic surgery. And this device right here, an Endotrainer, is just the perfect way to understand how it all works. I want you to imagine trying to tie a shoelace, but you have to do it inside a closed box. And the only thing you can use are a pair of long chopsticks, all while watching what you're doing on a TV screen. Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's pretty much the challenge. So today, we're going to unpack the incredible toolkit that makes this whole thing not just possible, but absolutely revolutionary. And to do that, we're going to lay out our virtual surgical tray. First step, we'll get straight on what keyhole surgery actually is. Then we'll check out the clever tools that create the gateways into the body. After that, we'll explore what I like to call the surgeon's extended hands, the core instruments. We'll follow that up with the super specialized tools for very specific jobs. And then to wrap it all up, we'll take a little peek into the future of the operating room. Okay, let's start with the absolute basics. You have to understand, this technique wasn't just some small improvement. No, it was a complete and total game changer compared to traditional open surgery. It literally changed everything about patient recovery and what was possible. So here's the bottom line. Instead of one massive incision, a surgeon makes a few tiny ones. And that simple change, well, that's the key to the whole thing. It means way less trauma to the body, which directly leads to less pain, much smaller scars, and a recovery time that is just so much faster. So the big question is, how do you actually get inside the body? Well, the very first step in any of these procedures is to create a safe, stable entry point. You need a doorway for the camera and for all those cool instruments we're about to look at. You can't just, poke a hole. It has to be done right. And they do it with this device called a trocar. Now, the way this works is just brilliant. It's like a key and a keyhole. The trocar itself is the sharp key that makes the opening. It sits perfectly inside a hollow tube, which is called a cannula. Once that trocar pierces the abdominal wall, the surgeon pulls it out. And what's left behind? The cannula, which acts as a protected little doorway, a port, for all the other instruments to pass through safely. And as you can see from this lineup, one size most definitely does not fit all. We're looking at trocars here that are as small as 3.5 millimeters and others as large as 12. This specific surgery being done is what determines exactly how many of these keyholes are needed and what size each one has to be to fit the right tools for the job. All right, so the ports are in place. Now what? How does the real work actually begin? Well, you need instruments that can essentially become the surgeon's eyes, fingers, and hands, but on the inside. And the most amazing part is the simple physics of it. These long, skinny instruments pivot at the keyhole incision. That incision acts as a perfect fulcrum. So a small, intuitive move from the surgeon's hand on the outside translates into a tiny, incredibly precise movement of the tool's tip deep inside the patient's body. It's genius. So, once the surgeon is inside, one of their first jobs is usually to navigate through different layers of tissue. That's where dissectors and scissors come in. They're basically very long, super precise scalpels and shears. They allow for that incredibly delicate work of separating organs and tissues without causing any extra damage. But the real workhorses of this whole setup are probably the graspers. Just think of them as the surgeon's remote-controlled tweezers or clamps or even fingers. They're used for absolutely everything, from gently lifting an organ out of the way to getting a firm grip on tissue that needs to be removed. And as you can see here, there is literally a different job for every single job. And let me tell you, this is absolutely crucial. Picking the right grasper can literally be the difference between a successful operation and a serious complication. You've got a claw grasper with these interlocking teeth that give it a really powerful grip, perfect for tough, fibrous tissue. But if you were to use that on, say, the intestine, you'd cause major damage. No, for that you need something like a Babcock grasper. It's got this gentle, atraumatic jaw that's designed to hold on without crushing anything. Okay, so beyond the basics of just grasping and cutting, a lot of complex surgeries need a whole army of highly specialized instruments. Each one is engineered to solve a very specific problem that can come up inside the body. For example, how do you control bleeding? It's not like you can just reach in and apply pressure with your finger. That's where these amazing tools come in. Vessel sealers use a really targeted electrical current to actually fuse the walls of a blood vessel together, sealing it completely shut before it's even cut. This makes for what is essentially bloodless surgery, which is just critical for keeping the surgeon's view clear and, of course, keeping the patient safe. Now, for bigger things, like the cystic duct when you're removing a gallbladder, surgeons might use a clip applicator. This thing is like a tiny, unbelievably precise staple gun. It deploys these little titanium clips that permanently seal off a tube or a vessel. You know, sometimes the biggest challenge is just seeing what you're doing. Organs can get crowded in there. That's what retractors are for. Take a look at this fan-shaped one. It's designed to gently push and hold a big organ, like the liver, out of the way. This creates a clear, safe space for the surgeon to get the job done. And what about stitching things back up? I mean, sewing is one of the most complex manual tasks in all of surgery. Well, these needle holders and knot pushers are just marvels of engineering. They allow a surgeon to pass a needle through tissue, tie a totally secure knot, and then cut the suture. And do all of that through a tiny 5mm port. It is truly, truly incredible. So from the simplest grasper to the most complicated energy device, it is so important to remember why all this technology even exists. Every single one of these tools was designed to let surgeons do their job more safely, more effectively, and with way less impact on the patient's body. And honestly, the results really do speak for themselves. This entire amazing toolkit is what makes these benefits possible. We're talking less pain after the operation, tiny scars instead of big ones, hospital stays that are measured in days instead of weeks, and people getting back to work, to their families, and to their normal lives so much faster. And that brings us to our final thought here. You know, that evolution from huge open incisions to these tiny keyholes was a massive, massive leap. We've seen the incredible ingenuity that made it all happen. So, what comes next? Where do we go from here on this journey of surgical innovation? We are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. I mean, with robotic assistants becoming more and more common, and with instruments getting even more miniaturized, even smarter, you just have to wonder, what parts of the body are going to become accessible next? What procedures that seem complex now will become totally routine? And what surgical challenges, the ones we once thought were impossible, will this next generation of tools allow us to finally conquer?